Traore.
Ibrahim Traore.
Ibrahim Traore.
Well, army officers in Burkina Faso have announced the overthrow of military leader Paul-Henri Damiba. Captain Ibrahim Traore has been declared the new head of the West African country.
On a cold Friday afternoon, the streets of Burkina Faso erupted, not in fear, but in celebration. Men, women, and even children filled the air with cheers, their faces glowing with joy. The reason? A revolution. The reign of the past presidents had come to an abrupt end, overthrown by a young, fearless soldier who strategically seized control of the state. At the heart of this daring coup stood an unlikely leader, a one shy boy who had transformed into a gallant warrior. His name, Ibrahim Traore. But who is Ibrahim Traore? How did he rise from a humble student in a rural community to a military captain and ultimately the leader of Burkina Faso? And how has his leadership meant for the country since taking power? This is the full story of Ibrahim Traore, a tale of ambition, strategy, and revolution. This video is divided into 4 powerful chapters, each chapter marking a significant turning point in his life. From the early years of his life before the military, through to the years of his life in the military. We are also going to look at how he strategically executed the coup and his rule of Burkina Faso after the coup. Sit tight and enjoy. Ibrahim Traore was born on 14th March 1988 in the small village of Kira within the Muho province of Burkina Faso. His father, Huhul Matkin, was a nurse, and his mother, Mantuba Matkin, was a homemaker. Growing up in a rural setting, young Traore was not surrounded by wealth or power, but what he had was a hunger for knowledge. He was the eldest of 3 brothers, and from a young age displayed sharp intelligence and a quiet yet commanding presence. His academic journey started in a local school in Kera, but he later moved to Bobo Dioulasso, Burkina Faso's second largest city, where he attended high school. It was here that his natural leadership abilities began to emerge. Teachers and classmates described him as an exceptionally talented student, someone who understands not just facts, but the deeper workings of human nature and society. In 2006, Traore enrolled at the University of Ouagadougou, where he majored in geology. But while he studied the earth layers, he was also digging into the layers of society, politics, and power. At the university, he joined the Association of Muslim Students and the Marxist-oriented Association Nationale des Étudiants du Burkina, that is, the ANEB. These organizations shaped his worldview, exposing him to the realities of classes, struggles, corruptions, and foreign influence in Africa. By the time he graduated, Traore wasn't just a geologist, he was a man on a mission. He believed Burkina Faso needed to free itself from Western exploitation, and he saw the military as one of the best ways to serve and protect his people. And so, in 2009, he made a life-altering decision. He joined the army. The Burkina Faso army was no place for the weak, but Traoré thrived. After graduating from the Georges Namouna Military Academy, he was sent to Morocco for advanced anti-aircraft training. When he returned, he was assigned to an infantry unit in Kaya, a region in the north of Burkina Faso, one of the most volatile areas plagued by growing jihadist insurgencies. Traoré quickly earned a reputation as a fearless and disciplined soldier. His leadership skills were undeniable, and by 2014, he was promoted to lieutenant. That same year, he was sent on a dangerous mission, a UN peacekeeping operation in Mali. The conflict in Mali was brutal, with Islamic militants waging relentless attacks. In 2018, his unit was caught up in a deadly ambush in the Timbuktu region. It was here that Traoré proved his bravery, leading a counter-attack that saved many lives. Upon returning to Burkina Faso, he became deeply involved in counter-insurgency operations, particularly in the 2019 Otapuno offensive, one of the country's largest military campaigns against jihadist groups. By 2020, he was promoted to captain, a title that would be soon famous across Burkina Faso. Captain Ibrahim Traore. But as soon as he rose through the ranks, Traoré saw firsthand the government's failure. The government's failures to solve these jihadist Islamic extremists. The army was poorly equipped, soldiers lacked proper resources, and leadership in the capital seemed out of touch with the brutal realities of war. Disillusioned, Traoré began to speak out. He became the voice of frustrated soldiers, those who felt betrayed by their own government. And as soon his frustrations turned into action. By mid-2022, Burkina Faso was losing the war against jihadists. Entire villages were falling under terrorist control, and over 2 million people had been displaced. The military's patience with President Paul Henri Damiba, who had himself come to power through a coup, was wearing thin. Soldiers felt abandoned. Ibrahim Traoré knew the time had come. In the weeks leading to September 30th, 2022, he quietly gathered support. His allies were not just junior officers, but also mid-ranking commanders, the very people leading the fight on the front lines. Then on the 9th of September 30th, the plan was executed flawlessly. The strategy he used to take over the country was: his forces swiftly took control of Ouagadougou's key infrastructure, the presidential palace, military bases, and national television stations. By securing media, Traoré's faction controlled the information flow ensuring that their message was heard before Damiba's loyalists could respond. Government forces that might have resisted were quickly overpowered by confining them to the barracks. The coup was almost bloodless. By the end of the day, Damiba was removed from power and Captain Ibrahim Traore was now the leader of Burkina Faso. But by taking the power was not just the end. In fact, it was the beginning. Now he had to lead. He had to prove he was worthy. Once in power, Ibrahim Traore wasted no time. His first mission was security. He restructured the military and launched aggressive counter-terrorism operations, retaking land that has been lost to extremists. But Traore's leadership wasn't just about war. He challenged Western influence, rejecting IMF and World Bank loans, and emphasizing self-reliance. He cut ministerial salaries by 30% while raising civil servants' salaries by 50%. To strengthen Burkina Faso's economy, he focused on agriculture and industry. He built 2 tomato processing plants, the first ever in Burkina Faso's history. He stopped exporting unrefined gold to Europe, keeping resources in the country. He doubled cotton processing capacity and expanded support for local farmers. On the cultural front, he made a bold statement. British-styled wigs and robes were banned in courtrooms, replaced with traditional Burkinabe attire. And on the international stage, he forged alliance with Mali and Niger, strengthening regional military cooperation. However, his rule has been not without controversy. His administration has faced accusations of human rights violations, and discussions have been about reinstating the death penalty. So, is Ibrahim Traore a revolutionary hero? Or a military strongman? His story is far from over, and only time will tell if his leadership will bring lasting stability and prosperity to Burkina Faso, or if history will remember him as just another soldier who seized power.